into hover.
Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Well, they came close to making it a pretty miraculous comeback, but not quite enough. The clock ran out. The Oilers were all over the Blue Jackets, looking like they were going to get her done. But that's what happens when you start slow and you play with fire and you're constantly chasing games. Sometimes you just don't get caught up. Looking forward to breaking this one down, folks. Welcome to Got Your Back, post-game live on X. Live on YouTube, and if you're listening in podcast form the following morning or this evening, we appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. It is, as always, brought to you by our great title sponsor, Timberhouse Developments, a leader in custom and infill development with the knowledge and experience to bring your dream to life. If you're tired of cookie cutter, copy and paste designs with no soul, see the team at Timberhouse and discover how naturally inspired living can make your life better. Take all the guesswork out of your infill project and work with experienced leaders. They know what they're doing, as these houses would clearly indicate. Beautiful, beautiful creatures all unto themselves, these unique homes and designs. Visit timberhouse.ca. I'm coming at you from our biophilic and friendly Timberhouse studio out here in Sherwood Park. It truly is a customized building experience when you go with Timberhouse. Struddy continues his odyssey on the road. He's gone just about as much as the Oilers these days. And we got Zuby ready to roll tonight. Struddy, where are you coming to us from, my man?
Still Calgary, down in Cowtown. Yeah, so down here for a few more days, helping out coaching the kids. How's
the team doing? How's the hockey going?
Yeah. I mean, despite this coach, my coach, like myself, they found a way to get a W today. So I try to get in the way as much as I can, make it hard for them, but they found a way to win today. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Good stuff. Zuby, you've been swamped. I have to say, buddy, pretty intense work regimen for you lately. We got a lot on the go, and we actually have a pretty cool little announcement tonight, Zuby. We won't necessarily give it away, but another little special project that you've been working on along with a colleague of ours.
Yeah, and let's just say that ended up sliding in between the other two podcasts that had to get done today, meaning this one and Ray and Dregs. That was an early call, 6 a.m. Pacific time here for to start recording. So it was wheels up at 5:30. So yeah, it's all good. It's been a busy week, but it's been good. I'm off for a few days next week, so it'll be a healthy dose of Steve for a few days next week too.
Right on. Well, I'll take advantage of you while we got you. Struds, were you ever, you recall being interviewed by Mark Connolly in your time as a member of the Edmonton Oilers and seeing him around the media crew?
Yeah, I really liked him, but I did like him. And then I had my roast, and he was the roast master and absolutely destroyed me. Like I didn't think he was a funny man. I'd known him for many years, and I'm like, where has this been? You've never been funny once. And then he's destroyed me at the roast. And since then, I haven't really liked him much. But I'm sure tonight, everything will be forgotten tonight.
Oh, can't wait. Well, Mark Connolly's going to join us in a little bit here. He's doing a little side hustle with the Got Your Back crew. After 36 and a half years at CBC, Mark retired from his official day-to-day duties, which allowed him and I to do some work together because traditionally we work for opposing networks. But now in this next phase, we got him doing a little gig for Got Your Back. So we're going to tell everybody a little bit more about that. Mark Connolly is going to join us. Maybe we can ask him what his favorite dig at Struddy was in that roast. Looking forward to that coming up a little bit later on in the show. For now, let's get to breaking down a loss for the Edmonton Oilers, and that'll be brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. During every Oiler game day at the Canadian Brew House, enter at any Edmonton and area location for your chance to win Oiler home game tickets, plus enjoy $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards. Edmonton-born, Canadian-operated, 48 locations across the country, and some really fabulous ones here around the city. You know, whether you're downtown at Ice House, out here in the park, Ellerslie, there's all kinds of brew houses all over the place, and always a great spot to watch the Oiler games. Okay, buddy, I don't know where you want to start this one, man. This was like choppy and pucks bouncing all over the place and turnovers in both teams and just some ugly stuff in the early going of this game, would you not say?
It was a very loosely played game, and it kind of makes sense when you look at the two games that these teams played. 18 goals scored in 2 games. You know, I'm not a mathematician, but that's probably a little high on the higher end of what coaches are looking for in their teams. It was very sloppy. You know, there was multiple comments made by Jack and Louie about the ice quality, and the puck seemed to be bouncing around a lot. But I feel strongly that Columbus was the stronger of the two teams in the first period or two until they kind of got going. Columbus had a lot of chances, and they could have had many more goals than they did, especially early, Shaggy.
Yeah, for sure. There was definitely a turning point in the game for the Oilers when they made the line change, and we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But let's kind of go from the start and work our way through this one, Struddy, because you know, it was a tale of a couple of different games. So I thought that the big guys were struggling in the early going. They were out there for some tough stuff against, you know, on the 1-0 goal, Olivier, who, by the way, what a bounce back for him after that tough break after the last game. Just a really solid performance from him tonight. And the nuclear heavyweight out defending leads late in games and stuff. It's pretty impressive from him. But, you know, the big guys found themselves dashed pretty quickly there on the 1-0 goal. A tough turnover from Connor McDavid there on the wall, I think. Oh, no, sorry, that was his second goal. That was his second goal, was his bad turnover.
Yeah, the second goal. I don't know. It looked like it bounced off a stick or over a stick in the second goal.
Yeah.
The first goal, though, Charlie Cole walks out of the corner and or just kind of walks up the wall, it gets the puck on the wall, throws it at the net, and Evan Bouchard standing behind Mathieu Olivier, providing a good screen along with Olivier. They both are screening, no tying up of the stick whatsoever, and Olivier just taps it in, and that's it. So, listen, there's going to be the people that love Bouchard and the ones that don't. That's just a simple tie up the stick in front. If you're going to stand in front of the goalie and screen, you got to tie up the stick, and he did it.
Yeah, the reason I had McDavid turnover on this one is because it was down at the far end of the ice. And I don't mind this, but McDavid a couple of times in the first couple of shift struts really looked like he wanted to just push the puck through the middle of the ice, challenge guys one-on-one. He sort of had that look about him like he was up to speed and wanting to stick handle his way through guys. And you back up 7 or 8 seconds in that goal, he really challenged about 3 guys in Columbus's end, 1-on-3, and that's where the initial turnover happens and it goes back the other way. I don't want to criticize him because we felt like he needs to take the puck there, and he's a guy that can walk through people sometimes, Strud, so I'm okay with that intention and that idea from McDavid, but you know, those 1-on-3 moments are happening quite a bit, I would say, with him.
Yeah, he seems to have the intention of trying to go, and I wonder if it didn't coincide with what we saw Saturday night from Nathan McKinnon. And he's maybe trying to be a little more aggressive, taking the puck to the net. So, yeah, I think that there's that intention. And yes, you got to keep it in, you want to play in their zone as much as possible. But in your own zone, the habits have to be there. And, you know, anyone, just go back and watch it if you didn't see it. There was 0 tying up of the stick. In fact, I think Bouchard's stick was above Olivier's.
You know, I think at a certain point here, we got to dig in a little bit on Calvin Pickard. I mean, when you think about where he was for this team in the postseason, rattling off all those wins, coming in, being so clutch, great numbers last season through big chunks of it, just kind of that ideal backup, doesn't cost you too much and can come in and in pressure situations, excellent in the locker room. Like, there's a lot of reasons why Calvin Pickard is truly a perfect scenario as a backup goaltender. The problem is this year, is he's played terrible. He has not been good enough this season. His numbers show it. He is way down from where he normally is. And Zuby, you can feel free to hop in here on this one and let us know if you're seeing some different things here, Struddy. But the numbers on Pickard and the performances that we're seeing, I would say they almost make all those other things, like at a certain point, you gotta get some wins and you gotta start, bringing those numbers back up there. And I know the Oilers aren't perfect defensively by a long stretch, but he's got to be better here, Struds.
Yeah, so two things. They're 100% they have to be better in their own zone. And we can go through that, like the second goal, poor. Like, it's just, there's so many, just I think it was the third or fourth goal, just getting out muscled on the wall, like just so many things. And accidents happen, but there's a lot of accidents happening in the Oilers D zone. But you're right. When you're in that situation, you're a backup, you want all the qualities that Pickard shows for sure, that he has, and the guys love him, but he's still got to perform. There's a minimum standard that is set. Now, what comes first, the better defensive play or the better play from Pickard? I think it's a bit of both. But you can't just in a vacuum say it's the goaltenders or it's the overall defensive play by the Oilers.
No, I think you need to look at both individually. I think both can absolutely be true. The Oilers can be fundamentally not good enough in their own zone and creating all sorts of high danger chances. And Pickard, in my notes, I mean, he made some saves on high danger chances tonight. It's not like every hard shot he let in, but that can be true at the same time as it's true that he's letting in too many that he shouldn't and not making the big saves necessarily when the team needs him to. And that overall his body of work this year, him personally, has not been anywhere near where it needs to be for them to have confidence in rolling him out as the backup night after night, right? So I think both. I don't think it has to be one or the other. One causes the other, or a chicken and egg thing. I think it's just two chicken Struts.
Yeah, and I hear you. I think though that for the fan base, it gravitates towards the net minding. I think that's the first thing people look at. I know my phone was blowing up today, not today, this evening, watching that game. So I believe that people gravitate, but both things can still have a problem. I do think that these two goalies play better when the D is structured in front of them, and right now it is anything but structured.
Yeah, definitely. So lots of mistakes are happening. So at 2-0, they make a switch. 29, 97, and 22. Matt Savoy, who's been one of the most consistent Oiler forwards here over the last number of games, gets a look on the line with the big fellas, and some good things start to happen. Scores a goal, Struds, and then that line gets it going, and they get a couple. Maybe just take us through what you saw the main shift being when that line was adjusted.
When they came together, I saw a significant upgrade in their speed, how fast they were playing. I thought those three guys were playing exceptionally fast. Savoy is a player that is both smart and fast. And I thought he got cheated on, there was the called back goal for McDavid. That would have been an assist, I believe, for him on that one too. But they just started playing so quickly, and Columbus was having tough time keeping up. Any team would, when you're thinking that fast and playing that fast. And so Savoy's offensive output has increased dramatically, I think, in the last couple games. Let's just park the Colorado game by the side. But he looks like a player when he's on the ice, especially with either Connor or Leon, or both in this case. He looks extremely dangerous, and he looks like he's ready to bust out every shift. Yeah,
love the confidence that he's skating around with, and I really like his bursts of speed, Struds. He'll couple strides and he really gets up to speed quickly. He's got separation speed, when he grabs a puck in the neutral zone, if he's not necessarily in full stride, couple strides and he can skate away from people. We saw that in some of his point generation tonight, few strides and he's creating separation between himself and other guys. There's still some plays dying on his stick. Still I could think of at least 3 times where they're on the rush and they're moving it and it's dying with him. And then you can't help but notice in the next couple of shifts, McDavid and Draisaitl are looking a little more for each other. You still feel like there's a little bit of that happening, but that's going to happen when you play with two guys like that. So it's been a good fit for him. He's been consistent. And then all of a sudden it goes the wrong way, and the 3-2 goal comes. Quick response from the Columbus Blue Jackets on tough bounce off the end boards. But what did you think on that 3-2 goal? I think you're muted there, big guy.
Okay, which one was that? That was Matejchuk?
Bounce off the end boards and then out into the middle. Yeah, I think Matejchuk, right? That was the goal.
Yeah, a bit of a bad luck bounce. I don't know. This reminds me of, was it against Colorado? They had one that went, was that where it went behind the net, then back out and they tapped it in? Or maybe that was Dallas. Actually, it happened. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not, it's kind of a bad luck situation there. I can't get, I'm not going to grind anyone too hard on that one, I don't think. Did you see something differently or?
No, tough one. I mean, puck just hammers off the M boards right out in front. Like, you can't help but sort of be looking to your left, looking to your right. If you just think someone should be standing there just straight up taking a guy's stick, not paying any attention to where the puck is. I just think guys are trying to be alert. But there's discussion about the slot tonight in our Reese Johnson sound box, so we'll get to that in a minute. Let's just break down the rest of the goals and what happened here quick, those Struds. Then it ends up being Fantilli. I didn't like the net front presence on the Fantilli goal. I think Wallman was in front of the net there, and just some sloppy play, I think, by 96 in and around that goal. Is that fair?
Trent Frederick. This is Trent Frederick's issue and Wallman's.
Interesting.
These are the two.
Yeah.
Trent Frederick gets out-muscled. I think it was Marchenko, who out-muscles them into the corner. He just gets pushed off the puck. And Marchenko, I think it's him, just takes the puck to the front and wins the puck battle of the corner. At that point, Wallman is still standing behind the net thinking that maybe there's a chance to that they're going to throw it back down below the goal. And I understand that. I could see that up to some point, but you still got to recover in front. But Trent Frederick gets absolutely out-muscled down low, and that is supposed to be your strength. You're a big, I would like to see center down low, and you get pushed off that puck and barely compete to get that to fight for that puck. That is his job. If I was a coach, I'd bring him in the office and say, Trent, listen, hasn't gone quite how you wanted recently. Let's look at this play here. Take me through your compete level on this, because it's not good enough. It is absolutely not acceptable at all. We can talk about the lack of scoring. We can talk about maybe not being rambunctious enough, to use my dad's terms. But that is unacceptable for a big man down low below the goal line. That is where you eat, and he got taken to the woodshed in that situation. Unacceptable.
Yeah, looking at that goal again, Struds, and you're right. He was just flat-footed, right? The puck is there. He needs to be hard striding into that corner, engaging with.
He wasn't ready for the battle. He wasn't ready for the battle shot. Like he wasn't even prepared to engage in the battle. Flat-footed, it doesn't matter. You can use anything you want. You have to anticipate a fight below the goal line, and that was a pretty big moment in the game at that point, right? It's only 3-2. You're back out there. You got to engage. So that, to me, everything that happened tonight, that was the play that bothers me the most, as you can probably tell by my battle like you had with you and Brownie are arguing about the body language. For a big man down low, you don't get beat like that. That cannot happen below the goal line, your own zone.
Yeah, great pickup. Great point by you. Oilers thought they had tied it. Obviously, that was offside. Then that goal ends up happening. Feels like a bit of a backbreaker. Then Olivier gets another one to cap off his 3 points on the night. And again, Struds out there against the top line, and he finds a goal.
Yeah. It was.
I'm looking at it here again too.
Yeah. So, okay. So, well, I'm trying to think of organize my thoughts. So first, let's talk about the goal. He is left basically untouched right in the slot. There's Oilers around him. Someone has to claim him and take him. Now, the D can reach out and do it, or Leon can just put your stick in that. But for a guy to get a pass from below the goal line to that slot area, that's Rob Brown's dream. He dreams of that happening nightly, and it just shouldn't happen. The other part of it is that Coyle, Sillinger, and Olivier line having a really good night against the Oilers' top line. Yeah. Like they gave some, but they took some too. But you know what? That's probably okay. You come out of it, and your coach is like, okay, there was you made a couple of mistakes, but you also got some back for us. So that's a pretty good night for that line, for sure. But that goal, someone's got to pick him up in the slot there. Clearly.
Do you have that goal up right now, Struds? Are you looking at it?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Okay, so okay. So I'm on a break. So we'll get a little granular here, folks. So bear with us. Buddy's behind the net with the puck, right? And you've got Nurse on the right post, preventing him coming out that side. You got Wallman kind of in front of Pickard on the left post. You've got, is that Savoy over on the to Olivier's left, right? Then you've got Draisaitl comes in to fill the middle slot as well. So there's actually 4 Oilers and 1 Blue Jacket, maybe 2 Blue Jackets kind of in the slot there. Whose job is actually to pick that guy up? Like, of all of those people, whose assignment is that? Leon kind of came over like maybe it was his, but I'm not sure it was his.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's 1 player below the goal line and 4 above it. And there's 2 D-men with their skates pointed at the player below the goal line. So in that second, maybe they can call, Leon can call Nurse off and say, hey, come back up here. But generally speaking, you do want to cut off the side, the bottom of the net. So it would fall on one of the wingers to jump in there. Savoy is kind of in no man's land, although you could argue he's trying to deny that pass to the blue line. So I think it would fall on Leon to try to get in there, Leon and or Nurse to put a stick in that lane. Or just put a stick in his shooting area, right? Like, that's not Brett Holland or Ovechkin. Like,
one of his options from behind the net, as I let it play a little bit longer, you can see there was is that Werenski sneaking in off Savoy's left shoulder? So he was clearly trying to prevent that pass, which makes me wonder if it wasn't like you say, Draisaitl who needed to come across. But look, there was a theme tonight, and definitely noticed by the head coach and Chris Knobloch, as we'll get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here and hear what they had to say. Brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Should you need a new train furnace, air conditioner, heat pump, hot water tank, or garage heater, Weiss Johnson's now offering 24 months, no interest, equal payments, OAC, to make your purchase easier heading into the Christmas season. Their family, helping your family for nearly 50 years. Visit WJJingle.com for exclusive specials. Just forgot your back, jingle lovers. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Chatted with Dennis from Weiss Johnson, not afraid to get his hands dirty, Struds. He's a business owner, still on the tools, doing some work out of town. Dennis actually on the tools himself. How impressive is that from the big guy? Okay, let's get to Chris Knobloch. Some concerns about the slot.
The game-winning goal was a play like that. The first goal is a play like that. That's where most of the goals happen, and we have to do a better job of defending that area because it's so important.
Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, battled our way and kept it, within striking distance, but we weren't able to get last one to get into overtime. But I think, for us as a group, that's not. It's not good enough to just try to get to overtime. I think we could all be better.
And back to the head coach.
Just around our nets. I thought we were a little too soft around the net, whether they were deflecting pucks or getting inside of us. Multiple goals like that. And there was one early in the second period. There's turnovers. That's unfortunate. There's nothing we can do about that. But just make it harder and for them to get inside position on us, and too often they were left alone in front of the net with just picks by himself.
All right, pretty common theme there in some of Knobloch's comments. How about 6 goalposts, though, Struds? And maybe that goes back to the conversation about Pickard, although I don't know, Zuby, as a goaltender, you probably want to take credit for pucks that hit the post because you had the angle just nailed down to absolute perfection. But, I mean, to me, that's 6 more pucks that got in behind him, buddy.
Well, Struddy and I talked about this. I think maybe it was on Struddy's World where I talked about when a puck hits the post, as a goalie, there was nothing there. It was going to hit me or it was going to hit the post. Or I got off, I got a lucky one because I was beat and it hit me. So I don't know. I mean, I can't quantify, it's hard for me to think post by post because there were so many of them tonight. But I'm surprised actually at the there's some vitriol here towards Pickard on the stream. And I'm surprised because I just rewatched all the goals too. And you got 3 from right in, in the goal mouth. The first one's not great, but it's a little bit unlucky, but I don't know. I'm surprised. I don't think this is much different of a game from Pickard than than what we've seen. It just hasn't been going his way. He looks a little small. Remember, we used towards the end of kind of Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
We talked about him looking small. We know Pickard's a smaller guy, so I don't know exactly what it is that's going on. But right now, he looks small to me.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, I like those comments too. It is insightful, and I said the point. I don't know if it was on here on the Studies World, but I said I want to evaluate these netminders when the team is playing better defensively in front of them, because right now it's so chaotic in front of them. You know, you think back. So what is that? They had there's been 4 games, and there's other than maybe Philly, the 3 other games have been really chaotic. What have they given up? They've given up 4, 9, 5. So they've given up 18 goals. Plus, what was Philly last night? Was that 3-2? So 20 goals in 4 games. They've given up 5 goals a game. Am I right there?
Yeah.
In the last 4 games. Like, just is that all on the netminders? And there's a great percentage of the fan base that believes that, but you got to watch these breakdowns in front or lack of, battle in front. Even goal number 2, Connor loses the puck, doesn't jump back super hard. The Oilers aren't in a bad position. Bouchard could have laid down and take that pass away. That's Olivier coming down. Again, it's not Ovechkin. Instead of just kind of everyone just lets it slide back door to Coyle. Like, make it hard. Like, at least challenge him. Make him make a good pass to beat you rather than that. And then, Pickard's supposed to stop it. What is he supposed to stop? He doesn't have 3 legs. He's only got 2.
Yeah. I think too.
Sorry,
go ahead, Zuby.
People just keep saying he got beat 11 times, but did he? It's not a shot on net. It's not. If it goes another inch wide and misses the post to not go bing, is that a bad? Did he get beat there too? No, it went wide. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, but he didn't get beat 11 times. He got beat 5 times. That's part. I don't know. I think it's, yeah. I don't know. I understand what people are saying because it looked bad. It's not a good, and I'm not saying Pickard had a good night. He didn't, but it's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad at all.
All right. I'm going to go to a comment here from Mo, who says he got beat 11 times. So Mo disagrees with you, Zuby.
Oh yeah, there's a few. That's fine.
Yeah, there's a few of them, few other people. 6 times, that's too many. Very lucky it was. There was another one, basically, I thought summarized it nicely here. Where was it?
Can I jump in really quick there?
Yeah,
Shog, I got one.
Yeah.
From Canadian. Hey, guys, Columbus had defensive breakdowns tonight, too. The Oilers aren't the only team who breaks down. 3rd game in 4 with huge travel. Goalie needs to play way better than that. Columbus did have breakdowns, but no one's saying they're a Stanley Cup contender. That's the difference. And we've seen this team be much tighter in their own zone, win. What would it matter the most? The last 2 playoff runs. So they're capable of more. And we haven't seen that. That overall, defensively this year, they haven't been good enough. I haven't checked lately, but I think they were, what did I say the other day, Zoobs? Were they 3rd worst goals against per game? I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, I believe so.
3rd worst. Come on.
Definitely not good enough. All right, let's check in on our storyline of the day, brought to you by Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province. There's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, you can score a $50 free bet when you make a minimum $50 deposit with the code GYB50. That's code GYB50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you are Alberta's next winner. And a reminder, keep an eye on our social media platforms. We will tweet out a line that we think is attached to a story that's interesting heading into each game. You can take the action or not. Play along with us if you like. Zuby, what do we go with today?
Yeah, so I was, first of all, we took the over, and we achieved that quite nicely at 6.5, I think. So we needed 7 or more, and I had a feeling based on the previous meeting, we might see that. And just, unfortunately, this team's lack of defensive awareness that we've been talking about. So we got that, and then we had Leon Draisaitl, who we had talked about at great lengths, and not loving his body language and not seeing the results lately. So I had Draisaitl expecting him to bounce back to score an anytime goal, of which he did. In fact, he scored 2. So we hit on the Got Your Back storyline bet today. So hopefully some folks out there were able to take advantage.
Right on. Good stuff. There's a question here from Mike Tyson. Says, did anyone mention to Knob, our forwards never support our D-men? They leave the zone ASAP. Our D-men have no one to pass to. Other teams at least help a little bit more. And this may be focusing on the storyline that we focused on, taking the over, expecting lots of goals and lots of goals against, as we've seen from the Oilers. Struds, is there something in the system where there's a little bit less connectivity in the defensive zone? I know against a trapping team, sometimes you got to fly forwards out of the zone, which we saw quite a bit of yesterday. But what do you think systems-wise?
I don't think this is new. Right? Think back to the playoffs last year. They'd win a face-off. How many times did we see Ekholm just launch a bomb over top everybody, or Bouchard throw a bomb all everyone? You're just trying to kick the problem down, put pressure. Hopefully, you have a grenade land at the other team's feet, and then you take the puck, or you catch it and you go. So I understand it. You're leaving pressure out of your own zone, trying to put pressure on them. But I think it's you're not maybe always coming up with numbers or with the puck on your stick. So that's the way many teams play, right? They're not the only team that plays that way.
Aaron St. Pierre chiming in saying, I wouldn't read too much into that comment, Schauger. We played like crap for 2 periods and dominated in the third. It's more lazy play versus invested play. All right, that's our storylines brought to you by Play Alberta. Zuby, if you want to give Mark the green light, we'll get him to hop in here in just a minute. Yep. Let's get to our relentless player of the game first, though, and that's brought to you by You Can Use Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping 16 to 24-year-olds step out of harm's way and into meaningful work. Make the change today. Help make that change today right here at home. Check out their website, youcan.ca. Got your back. A very proud contributor and monthly supporter over at UCAN Youth Services. Got really expanded things, and they're doing great things to help some people that really need it here in our community. Struds, who you got, buddy?
Matthew Olivier. So impressed with him. I mean, this guy is a very versatile player for this Columbus Blue Jackets. I know last year he scored 18. He had 3 points tonight, played 17 minutes, played a lot of his minutes against the top players of the Edmonton Oilers, and did a good job. If you can say at the end of the night, you saw it off against the Oilers top line, that's a pretty good night. Your coach isn't going to be disappointed about that. So he, Coyle, Sillinger, really well done. But I'm giving specifically to Matty Olivier, arguably the toughest player in the league, but also a pretty good defender.
Yeah, for them to trust him the way they do and to have him out there in some of those key situations, it's pretty impressive. What a breakout year for. How many goals did he have? Was it 18 he had last year? 18 goals last year for that guy who's that menacing. Like, wow.
Yeah. And he always has that ability to snap and beat the hell out of someone. So really unique player in the league. Because look around at who are the other really tough guys? Is anyone even playing close to what he's playing? I'm talking the tough guys. I'm not talking guys that have been into fights. So really impressive. No, Reeves doesn't. I mean, give the guy credit. He's really worked himself into a player. He got in with one handle. Now he's become a fuller player, and the coach 100% trusts him.
All right, lots more breaking this game down coming up in our takeaways segment. We're going to shift gears, go a little off the board here. We're going to do a take a lap segment, but it's going to be a little bit more taking a lap around the got your back environment because we got some news that we want to bring to you. And our take a lap segment is brought to you by Riverside Motorsports, your multi-brand motorsports dealer serving Edmonton for over 55 years, offering a big selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, snowmobiles, all the fun stuff. They have all of the fun things at Riverside Motorsports, located just off St. Albert Trail. Check them out online as well, www.riversidemotorsports.com. And there he is, making his GYB debut, show debut. The man, the myth, the legend. Oh, are you muted, Mark? Check 1, 2.
Oh, he's nervous.
Boy, look,
I love it.
I love it.
Start. He's nervous.
I do it all the time, Mark. I do it all the time. It happens to me like 2-3 times a show. Zuby?
It was nice having you on, Mark. We'll talk to you another time.
Yeah, we can just roll the clip. He's Is your mic turned on? I don't even see a green light there.
This is all brand new equipment too. Like we just got them all set up the other day.
This worked. It worked fine this morning.
It worked beautifully this morning. Okay, why don't you do this, Zuby? Why don't you connect your Bluetooth and just call him on the phone? We'll keep him on camera here, and you can talk to him over the phone. Why don't you do that?
We can try that.
He has no experience in radio, so.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm just hammering on this guy.
This is your chance, Struddy. This is
It
your
is.
chance to get him back. He can't defend himself.
Just so clear, yeah. At the roast, he annihilated me, and I didn't even think he was a funny guy until he got there. So, here he is. Great.
Oh, thanks, Jody. I appreciate that. It's good to see your face too. As a matter of fact, I can see so much more of your face now because there is so much more to see, which is nice.
Wow. Oh, you totally just redeemed yourself. Totally redeemed yourself.
I didn't change a thing from the test earlier today, honest, Zuby. And I don't know what's going on here.
Mars Boy on the stream says, "Is that a fake mic from IKEA? Is that just a prop mic?" Or does
Yeah.
Could
We
be.
can't afford the
Could be.
real stuff. Yeah, we can't afford the real stuff.
We're waiting to see
Anyways,
how well this goes.
yeah. Well, everything worked just fine earlier on when we were faxing it out. Anyways, listen, wanted to let everybody know we have launched this season a Got Your Back Alumni series. And Mark Connolly, for over 36 years, was at CBC covering the Edmonton Oilers along with a dozen Olympics. He was the voice in your homes for all kinds of Olympic events and had truly a distinguished and amazing career, Mark, and congratulations on the retirement. But you're not completely done yet. You called me and you had some ideas and you wanted to stay involved. So tell everybody what we came up with, buddy.
Well, yeah, we were chatting at somebody else's retirement, Paul Graham's, early in the year, and you said, "Hey, if you are retiring, which I hadn't announced yet, and want to do something podcasting-wise, come and talk to me." So I did, and I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do something." And for the past 12 years hosting the morning show on CBC, I've done mainly interviews with folks. So I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Why don't we do an interview podcast? I don't want a full-time job. And you said, "Well, how about?" You came up with it, right? Let's do an Oiler alumni interview that we can drop into the pod. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Don't have to invent a new podcast. You've got your hands full with Struddy's World, which is really a heavy lift for you. And this could be a little bit easier on you. Not as much interference from the main guy. I'm really easygoing as compared to some really high maintenance folks that maybe you're involved with. And so you thought that would be a good idea. And I jumped on it because I love to do it and I want to stay involved in hockey.
Yeah, well, we just wrapped up our first episode not too long ago, and it's going to drop across all of our platforms tomorrow. So just so everybody knows, it's going to drop into the Got Your Back main podcast feed as a bonus episode, and then we're also going to stream the interview across all of our channels as well. So you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on X, you'll be able to download it in the main feed here. And Mark, I thought you had a great conversation with Devin Dubnyk. What stood out to you, buddy?
Well, Devin, it's not like he's underexposed because you see him a lot when he's on Oilers Nation, and I think he's done a really nice job of breaking down what he sees with the Oilers. He talks a lot about it. But, we went into some places where maybe he doesn't talk about recently, what happened with him when he was here with the Oilers, how he rebuilt his career and had, some great years in Minnesota. And then a couple of things that happened with his family, like his wife had an extreme medical issue, and I didn't know the whole story, and I wasn't sure if he wanted to go there, but we sort of cleared it beforehand. But then when he got into it and told us, wow, I was shocked.
Something.
It was, she had to have brain surgery. So she talks about that. He talks about that a little bit. Found that really interesting. And then he talked about some of the coaches he had, because I think he had a different coach every year that he was with the Oilers. And but he had some good comments on that. So there's a couple of good ones from there.
Yeah, we got a clip, Zuby. You want to roll?
Yeah,
a
we
clip,
got a
buddy?
clip here, just a little over a minute. And
little sneak peek. Here it is. Got Your Back Alumni Series featuring the one and only Mark Connolly.
What about relationships with head coaches? When you were with the Oilers, you had a different coach almost every year, I think.
I spoke on Dallas Eakins a little bit. I don't, he was hard for me when he was there. He was hard to approach, hard to talk to, which I don't think is how he is normally. I had a conversation with him the day I got traded in a hotel room, and it was the best conversation I had with him the entire time I was there. And I just kind of thought in the back of my head, like, why couldn't we do this the whole time? We can do this. I'm not on your team anymore, and now we have this great heart to heart. And with Bruce Boudreau here, Bruce is a great guy too. He's a little tough on goalies sometimes, and for him, I kind of just said, listen, you don't have to say a word to me. If you don't talk to me, I'll assume I'm doing my job. If you got a problem, don't talk to the media. Come talk to me, and we'll figure out. I'm a big boy, but if I don't hear anything from you, I assume I'm doing my job, and I better not hear something from the media waves before you come talk to me.
You know, Mark, you are a funny guy, and you know all these guys. You've interacted with them, but is there, when you get in there, like, is there an angle? Do you want to know more about their personal kind of not struggle to become an NHLer, or is it more about what they did in there? Like, what's your angle when you approach these different guys?
Well, every guy's going to be different because it depends on the era they were in. So I want to find out a little bit about their relationship on the team and how they thought about that, and with the organization as well, because there's some backstories there a lot. But also that behind the scenes deal about being an NHL player and what it was like in their era, what the challenges were, and maybe what they see has changed now, because a lot of them are still involved in hockey to a great degree. There's some who are coaches, like Devin Dubnyk has got his own, he's commenting, of course, on the NHL. He was on the NHL Network. He's done some broadcasting, and now he's doing some coaching. So I think there's a lot of interest in what these guys think. And there's lots of them out there who you don't hear from. Like Devin, we have heard from him, but there's lots of players we want to dig into and maybe get to that maybe Oiler fans haven't heard from in a while.
Yeah, so it'll be a little while before you get the tap for this show, Struds, because it's nothing but Strudwick nonstop in this town.
No, I'm a rash.
Exactly.
And Mark and I, we need to have a sit down to clear the air.
Yeah, how bad was that roast, Mark? Like Struddy, and this goes right to my heart. As a guy that's trying to get one over on this guy show after show and never can, the fact that he speaks of you in this manner, like you destroyed his soul, I idolize you. You're immediately my idol.
He didn't see it coming. He didn't see it coming at all. That's what the key was. The other guy who was great at that roast, Struddy, was Kent Tilley. Remember Kent?
Oh, God.
Same thing. Deadpan. Oh, my God. He was fantastic. But you were great, too, Struddy. You did come back well and roasted everybody at the end.
I'll say this is there's only two people that really roasted me. Garth Snow, he was unbelievable. And he kind of got me up to the level I was at. And you're the only two guys where I was like, all right, I think I'm in amongst the masters. Like, we're the Mount Rushmore of chirping people. I couldn't believe it. So well done. I can't wait to tune in to hear what Doobie has to say about his career, because I actually met him. He came to play in the Spangler Cup when he was 19, and or he was 20. Maybe his girlfriend or now wife was 19. So yeah, he's a really, I've known him for a long, long time, and I've always had a soft spot for him. So I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll have to few minutes through chirps too. I mean, one of the things that when Ryan and I were talking about it and introing the piece, or maybe it was extroing, we talked about the fact that I was glad to be part of Got Your Back, but I'm not going to have a chance to chirp Struddy and Brownie in this role. So maybe I will now. So maybe I'll just come in and drop a few bombs.
You keep it up, buddy. We'll get it sponsored and make it a regular segment. Mark Hits Back, brought to you by Ryan Rishaug. I will sponsor that myself. Mark, it's been great working with you.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Figure your gear out, man. You're not new. But honestly, on a personal level, Mark, you were always great to me when I was a young buck coming in, trying to get my footing in the market. You were very kind, very gracious. You've been a great friend over all these years, and I'm really excited to be doing some work with you. So welcome to the team, and look forward to everybody else here in the interview tomorrow, pal.
Thanks, Ryan. I really look forward to it as well. Take care.
All right. That is Mark Connolly. And again, keep an eye on all our platforms. Tomorrow is his interview with Devin Dubnyk, and the inaugural Got Your Back Alumni Series pod will drop tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun, Struds, and looking forward to maybe getting some different guys in there. And Mark has a long history of being able to interview people and go a little Barbara Walters on them. He's not afraid to get in there deep and dig around a little bit.
He's fantastic and just a great human, like such a good guy.
Yeah, good person, good people, and glad to have them. Okay, that was our Taking a Lap segment brought to you by Riverside Motorsports. When we come back, we will get to takeaways. Rob Brown's going to join us in the not-too-distant future. Yes, he and I did make up. You'll all be pleased to know we spent the entire morning arguing via text message. It's like pages and pages and pages. So the fight continued, but the respect remains. We'll have Brownie coming up shortly. Lots ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Timber Haas Developments.
Riverside Motorsports is your ultimate multi-brand dealer. With a massive lineup of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles, all under one roof. With Alberta's best selection, a huge parts and accessories inventory, and a fully certified service department, Riverside has everything you need to ride. Family owned and serving Edmonton for over 55 years. See what they have to offer in-store just off St. Albert Trail or online at riversidemotorsports.com.
Mainline Water and Sewer specializes in sewer line repair and replacement using advanced trenchless methods for fast, clean results. They provide detailed sewer assessments and scoping to identify problems before they become costly. Serving both residential and commercial properties, no job is too big or too small, and with over 40 years of experience, they've seen it all. Trust Mainline to keep your lines flowing smoothly. Zuby did some fantastic work on that Got Your Back Alumni series, some real production value put into it. But maybe my favorite thing that he did, he took the original Got Your Back theme song and spruced it up a little bit. So this is the theme song for the Got Your Back Alumni series. This brings back some memories, Zuby. Hey, Struddy, you remember this theme song?
I do. Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I like it. It rings a bell.
This was before Rob Brown was born into the Got Your Back family. Time now for takeaways as Brownie steps in, brought to you by Chandos Construction. Chandos doesn't just hire talent, they invest in it. 100% employee owned, so when their people grow, the whole company grows right along with them. Ready to build something that matters? Apply now at chandos.com. For, as always, Rob Brown. Rob, how are you, my very good friend, my buddy, my pal?
I'm doing very well. I'm driving home on a very snowy, sleet type of weather night. I have just heard a lot of fans that are not happy with certain aspects of the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm looking forward to talking to my three friends right now to make me happy again.
We love to brighten up your night, buddy. I told everybody that the fight continued between you and I. A long string of text messages this morning, point, counterpoint, point, counterpoint. I think we both should take an opportunity right now to express whether or not we changed each other's minds. I'll let you go first, Brownie. After another hour of texting back and forth, have you come around to my side yet?
Well, in all honesty, I don't really care if you came to my side because I know I'm right and you were wrong. So it really doesn't matter what you think on this one.
I love it.
We did have a conversation. It's funny. You always have to have the last word. That's what everyone says. I wake up this morning and it was like a 5-paragraph text from you with video. You actually sent video.
Yeah, there was video. I definitely did include video in there. I was up early this morning, buddy. I was up early. I love it, man. That was sporting last night. Love getting into it with you here on the show. So, Brownie, what's your takeaway from tonight, buddy? What's your headline? What happened?
Well, in simple terms, I think the Oilers played well enough that they deserved the point, but the Oilers played poorly enough defensively that they came away with none.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's, Brownie, it's the details defensively that are being missed. And it does happen. The people are commenting on, people make mistakes, but they're just too often. It's too frequent by people we know have a higher standard. And I think that must be just really hard for the coaching staff to understand.
Well, the thing is, like, if you saw Tomashik or Savoy or Regula, if those were the guys that were making the mistakes, you would understand it. But it's Wallman making same mistakes over and over. Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Ekholm and Bouchard. Bouchard has been better as of late, but still some big mistakes. And Ekholm is not even close to what we've seen in the past. And a great example, Connor and Leon, who had a fantastic night when the puck was on their stick. Connor was on for 3 goals again tonight. And on the game-winning goal for Columbus, there was only one player on the entire ice that was dangerous. Matthew Olivier. He's the only player on the ice that's dangerous for Columbus. And in the picture, every Oiler on the ice was in the picture. Not one of them took Matthew Olivier. And there's been too much of that this year. I mean, the Oilers played well enough, but they needed to score 6 goals to win this hockey game. So they're just too loose defensively. I hate using the word, and I know you do too, Strud. You never, ever want to call someone soft. That is the worst thing that you can ever be called in hockey. But Chris Knobloch used that word tonight. They were soft in front of their own net. And I think that says a lot about the way the Oilers have played defensively a lot lately.
I think, Brownie, when people want to talk about the goaltending, a lot of times the assumption is made that you're going to let everybody else off the hook, that if you're blaming the goalies for something, you're letting the D off the hook, or you're letting the forwards off the hook. I just want to put Calvin Pickard in a bit of a vacuum here. And yes, there was some tough stuff defensively going on around him, but lots of chatter on Pickard here on the stream tonight. His performance tonight, his performance this season, Brownie, it feels to me like it hasn't been good enough. It needs to be better. The numbers are pretty indicative of that. What's your evaluation of Pickard?
He hasn't been good enough. He had an .836 save percentage coming into the game, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Stoff tonight on the show said that was last in the NHL for players that have played a certain amount. And he had dropped. It was .836 to start the game, and it dropped. It was .800 in the hockey game. This game isn't all on him, and there's a ton of mistakes. But Calvin Pickard has had a very, very slow start to the season on a team that doesn't play good defensive hockey. So they're getting exposed more and more. I do believe Stuart Skinner will be here all year long, and I've said that all along. But Calvin Pickard has to start giving them quality starts, or they may start looking for someone to upgrade on that, because he's had one quality start this season, and that's not good enough for a team with Stanley Cup aspirations.
100%. And we saw he was consistent last year, right? And that's what he did. He did a good job, and it just hasn't been there. Again, I'm not putting it all on him, but he's part of it, right? Just like Stu Skinner's part of it, just like the overall team defense is part of it. So everyone's got to pick it up. But, it's Brownie's 20 goals against the last 4 games. I mean, that's insanity, man. That's 5 goals a game.
Oh, that means your offense needs to score 6. And that the Oilers scored 4 on the road. That should have been enough to get them a point at worst. But, Calvin Pickard did not give them a save. And if you want to look at it even more, the Columbus Blue Jackets hit 6 posts or crossbars. There were 6. If half of those go in, that's 8 goals again. Mm-hmm. So Calvin Pickard wasn't good enough. The only thing that allowed this game to be close is Columbus's Jet Greaves was terrible too. So it was a matter of which goaltender made 1 save, and Greaves made 1 more save than Pickard.
Yeah, certainly did. Okay, you know what, guys? We're going to push through takeaways now. Let's get to our core adjustments, because we need to talk about some of these line combinations moving forward and what we might end up seeing here from Chris Knobloch. Has some decisions to make with Zach Hyman coming back into the lineup. Core adjustments are brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you need a safety program, they will build it. If you need it managed, they will do that too. And if you're stuck dealing with those online safety registries that your clients make you sign up for, they will handle them for you. If you own a business, you know what I'm talking about. They'll do core audits as well. Visit www.hsecor.com for more information. This is wrapped up in our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll as well, which I think Zuby's going to put up here right away. But Zach Hyman is coming back. At long last, they get this important person, they get this important player back in their lineup. We don't know exactly where he's going to be at. We don't know how long it's going to take him to get his hands and his timing and all those things back. And so with that in mind, I'll just put the question to you guys. Where should they be starting Zach Hyman in this lineup? What should they do? What line do they drop him onto? Brownie, I'll give you the first crack at this one.
Well, this is now. I'm hoping that Hyman comes back and he's close to the player they need. And if that's the case, I go with McDavid, Hyman, and Savoy. I go Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Roslovic. I go Henrique with Mangiapane. And who's the guy I'm missing there? I'm missing a guy that plays wing there. And because I have Frederick playing with Janmark and Phil. Who am I looking for? Oh, I know. Actually, I probably have Frederick playing with, although I'm not happy with Frederick. But Frederick playing with Henrique and Mangiapane, and then on my fourth line, I got Noah Philp with Janmark and Lazar.
Okay. Struddy, what do you think, buddy? Like, where do you think the right place to slot Hyman in is?
Well, I think if I hadn't seen what I did tonight from Savoy and the two big guys, I probably would have done the same as Brownie, but that line was cooking offensively, and there's not much else going on away from that. So I think I'd put them, and I'd actually put Jack at center with Hyman and Podkolzin.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you, Struds. I think Brownie, like, I know he wants to revert back to splitting those guys up because that's the better way to start the game. And then if it's not going well, you can make the switch. But they were so much different a team after they put that line together, and they were able to generate so much. My gut tells me he's going to gravitate towards leaving those guys together. What would you say about that, Brownie, the idea that they should maybe stay together?
Well, I mean, they were dominant. I mean, there's no question about that. The only problem with that is we saw they become a one-line team. And they had them together for the third period. They played almost 10 minutes of the third period. So that meant you only had to find 10 minutes of other players to play. If you go a full 60 minutes, you're not playing them 30 minutes in the hockey game. So now there's going to be, they play 24 minutes. That means there's 36 other minutes that you need to find other players to play. And there was nothing after that first line. Henrique Podkolzin and Roslick a little bit. They had the one shift, but it was a complete drop-off. So that's your – and then you have the Carolina Hurricanes defense is banged up. So if you have Connor and Leon together, well, then you can put your two best defensemen against them, and you're not going to get the mismatches if they were separate. But I mean, they were dominant tonight, and I could see them staying with those. But you are going to be very, very thin with the rest of your lineup against the Carolina team that is pretty good.
Yeah, and I hear it. I guess what I'd say is that I'd hope that Roslovic and Hyman can get something going. And Paul Colson's been pretty good. And then part of it for me too is Mangiapane. You know, Mangiapane is in a stretch here where he's really fighting the puck, and like puck touches going off his stick, like all those types of things. You know, you want that puck going through you rather than dying on your stick, and I just don't think he has it. So my thought is he's got to come down and maybe find his game. Now, I really did like when he got into it in front of the net. I'm not sure exactly what set him off, but we need to see more of that from him because I think he's a player that connects to the game better when he's emotionally connected, just like Evander Kane.
Yeah, he's really struggled for sure. What about Roslovic, though, Struds? Like, he's in a nice spot. He's playing well. He's producing. He's handling the puck. He's making plays with skilled guys. He's showing he can play on a line with Draisaitl and keep plays alive. There's real value in that on this team. Like, real value in that on this team. And I wonder what a move to center and downgrading the overall skill level of his wingers does to his effectiveness game in, game out. And if there's some risk there, I don't know, Brownies, there's some risk there mucking around with Roslovic considering what he's able to do right now.
Yeah, well, there is, because first of all, that's the one reason I had Connor and Leon on separate lines. Leon Roslovic and Bud Holden have been very, very good together. The problem with Roslovic, it wouldn't be, I mean, he might not get created as much, but you're asking him to play center in his own end. I don't know as much about Roslovic, but if he was a healthy stretch in Carolina, and you've seen what he can do offensively, my guess is that the deficit in his game was probably on the back end. So now all of a sudden you're putting him in, and I've played both center and wing, and most of my career in the NHL was on the wing. Easiest position in the world to play. You put a guy at center, that just increases the stress level by 200%. So I don't know if Jack Roslovic, going against a very good Carolina team, is capable of coming in and being a centerman. I don't know. That would be an unknown going into the game for me.
Yeah. All right, that was our core adjustments, and that rolls us into our YouTube poll. Zubik's got some interesting options for the viewers and listeners to check out. That's brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Stock up. buy 3, get 1 free on all gloves. And check out all used inventory priced right at cost as well. Save $100 on Click Gear push carts or Power Up with Power Caddy power carts, and save $250. Those deals now. So 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. It's a great time to go upgrade your golf situation. Lots of great deals to be had down there. Zuby, what were the options you put forward to the folks?
All right, so on the question you guys were just talking about, anticipating Zach Hyman returning to the lineup, which line do you want Zach Hyman to mostly play on Saturday? The options we gave were him being a winger to McDavid and with Savoy, him being a winger on the nuclear option of 97 and 29, him being a winger to Jack Roslovic. That was option number 3. And the fourth option is other. And of course, we invite folks to put their other suggestions in the chat, and maybe someone will solve a problem that we couldn't solve.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, give us your suggestions. Give us your thoughts too. Ask Us Anything is coming up in just a little bit here. Okay, quick break. When we come back, little brownie points action, little Struddy's World action, and Ask Us Anything as well. Lots more ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse Developments.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
Why would you? Nobody puts in wood windows or siding anymore, so why put in wood fences? A maintenance-free vinyl fence from DLR is backed by a lifetime warranty and will save you time. Weekends are for playing, not painting. Go vinyl at DLRvinylproducts.ca.
Yes, it is time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Get 10 years of built-in confidence at your Alberta Ram dealer with Canada's best full-size truck limited powertrain warranty. Every new 2026 Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Beautiful truck, great interior and exterior, all kinds of power and luxury. Go see your Ram dealer today. Brownie, what do you got tonight, buddy?
Well, let's start with 10 brownie points to the Oilers' top line of Savoy, Draisaitl, and McDavid that played nearly 10 minutes in the third period, tilted the ice every shift they were out there, and almost for the second time in 3 games, brought them back from the brink of a loss to a huge victory. And who would have thought about a month ago, when you would talk about the Oilers going nuclear, that it would include the young kid from St. Albert, Matt Savoy, and he just looked so comfortable on the ice with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I've got minus 800 brownie points to Oilers goalie Calvin Pickard. He came into the game with an .836 save percentage, and it's going to drop even further after letting in 5 on 25 shots for, unfortunately, an .800 save percentage tonight. It's been a tough start to the season for Calvin, and tonight isn't going to make any of the Oilers faithful much happier. Neither goalie had a strong game, but Jett Reeves gave the Columbus Blue Jackets one more save. I've got minus 5 to the Oilers in their own end. The Oilers controlled play in the third, and especially with their top line on the ice, but the Oilers needed 6 goals in this game to win because they were too loose defensively. Their coach even used the word soft to describe them in front of their own net. And even in the third period, we just talked about it, their top line got caught watching. They were dominant in the third period, but the game-winning goal was scored when the Oilers' top line was on. They were all watching the puck, and Mathieu Olivier, the tough guy, scores the game-winning goal. That is, the Oilers have not been good enough defensively this year. I have -6 brownie points to the two players the Oilers need more from. Andrew Mangiapane and Trent Frederick combined for 0 points, and we're a combined -6 in this game. Frederick has struggled the entire season since signing a long-term deal. Mangiapane has struggled now probably for the last 10, 11 games and is struggling to find his footing and his spot in this lineup. These two players are needed to bring raspiness to their game. It hasn't been there. And Struddy knows as well as I do, when you are not producing offensively, you better find some other way to contribute to your team. Neither of these players have done any of that. And finally, -100 brownie points to the ice in Columbus tonight. That was as bad as ice surface as I've seen in a long time. It looked like Madison Square Garden after the circus had been there for 2 weeks. The pucks were bouncing, the players were falling. Connor McDavid and Marchenko of the Blue Jackets, the two best players on each team, both fell down twice without anyone around them. That was not good ice. It affected the way the game was played. And unfortunately, the bounces bounced one too many times to the Columbus Blue Jackets. But Ice Crew in Columbus are getting 100 brownie points taken away from them. And those tonight are my brownie points.
Very much on point with the brownie points, as usual there, my friend. I wanted to ask you a question. You talk about needing more from certain players, and that leads us to a discussion tonight about the roster, Hyman coming back, who comes off. Ike Howard was a scratch tonight. Struds, you've maintained from the start that you kind of feel like there'll be some American Hockey League time in Howard's not too distant future. But I do got to ask you, when you look at what Philp has thrown out there, when you look at what Tomášek has thrown out there, when you compare that to what Ike Howard has shown them, like, where would Howard rank on the list of guys that need to go down as some roster management has to happen with Hyman's return, Struds?
I think it's high because it's not just so much what he's doing here. It's about him growing as a player, right? If Tomášek dies on the vine here this year, I mean, no disrespect to him, but he's an older player. He can go back and play in Europe. He'll put up points. But for this guy, they need him to do it. And he's getting a lot of shots on goal. But I think you just don't want him dying on the vine. So I think you got to be really careful. And he's different than the other players you mentioned.
I agree. He would be the guy going down first, simply for the exact reason Struddy said. You need him to play. You need him to get better. He needs to grow his game. And playing 6-7 minutes up here on the fourth line, he's miscast. Curtis Lazar is a better fourth liner than Ike Howard because he understands his role. I'd have Howard go down and learn how to play and learn other parts of the game. Matt Savoy is fitting in so nicely up here, and a big part of it, he went down to the minors and learned different aspects of the game. Matt Savoy was an offensive player in junior, but look at what he's added to his repertoire, killing penalties. Play very, very trustworthy defensively. They need Ike Howard to learn those kind of things as well. The best place for him to learn that would be in the minors.
9 minutes and 30 seconds in 17 games played for Ike Howard. 2 goals, 1 assist. And what's he got for shots on net? 19 shots on net. It'll be interesting to see what decision they make. Do we feel that Lazar, like between Lazar, Philp, Tomášek in that spot, Struds, who would you say you would be most comfortable with night in, night out in the lineup?
Well, fully healthy. I mean, I'd like to see Philp in there, but he's got to continue to develop and keep proving, like, you earn that ice time. Tomášek, I think, spotted and out. And then Brownie's been right about Lazar the whole time. When you think about where it was, at the beginning of the camp, he's going to get sent down, but he just gets it. He understands what he has to do in that spot, and he brings energy from that fourth line. So, so Tomášek understand if he's on the fourth line that he's got to be physical. Can he be physical? Can he tilt it with an aggressive type shift? That isn't the way he plays, and that's fine. But I think that's why it's Lazar. So my order is Lazar, Philp, Tomášek.
Brownie?
I agree. Lazar, to me, he plays, and he's got more trust of the coaching staff. Lazar's been out killing penalties late in hockey games. So that to me shows that they trust him. He's a professional, and he's one of those guys, if they're fully healthy and he's the 13th forward, that's fine. Noah Philp, you don't want being the 13th forward. You still want him playing in the minors. So Tomashik and Howard would be the first two guys down. Philp would be third. Lazar would stay up here. But if you want to be completely honest, Frederick, they need more out of him because he's been outplayed by a number of players. And if you're pulling guys out of lineups based on play, he would be coming out of the lineup, and so would Mangiapane. Both have really, really struggled. You get more out of Lazar, you get more out of Janmark than you've gotten out of those two players. And Lazar and Janmark are fourth-line players. Frederick and Mangiapane aren't supposed to be.
You know what, Brownie, just a thought that I just had. I wonder if you couldn't put a line together. Lazar, Frederick, and Mangiapane, and just tell them what we want. This is what we want. And get yourself going and call it the fourth line, call it third line. I don't care what line you call it, but put those guys together and say, we need you guys to do this. And maybe that gets those guys going in the way that like the feistiness, you know what I mean? Maybe that's the way forward.
You're right. And you know what, as well as I do, is when you're told what they need from you as an identity, then you'll go play it. Every player wants to be told what you want from me. Tell me what I can do. What is it I need to do to get in your good graces? You want us three to go out there and create havoc, go out there and be raspy, get in the face? Yep, we'll do it. And then you will talk as a line on the bench. Okay, as soon as I get the puck across the red line, it's going in your corner so you can run somebody. I agree with it. And I think Lazar is the guy that will do it. And he's going to have to pull Frederick and Mangiapane with him.
Yeah, doesn't mean you're turning those guys into fourth liners. It means you're trying to get that part of their game going. Because I know Lazar a little bit. He's got an infectious personality. Like he really is an outgoing guy and fun. And then he kind of gets some spinning, and then he can spit them back up the lineup to get them going.
One quick thought on Tomashik from being around the locker room, watching what's going on the ice. The real sense I get with Tomashik is he's having trouble adjusting to the pace and the schedule in the National Hockey League. How hard they go at practice, how hard they work, how the way they prepare. I think it's different than probably what he's used to. And I think from a pace standpoint, a guy that isn't overly fast, I think it's been a lot for him. I think there's an adjustment period here coming across, and I think he struggled with that, and we've seen some of the drop-off. Yeah, buddy.
I struggle with that all 16 years of my pro career. I know exactly what he's going through.
It's tough. It is tough. And I remember when we had, what was that guy's, Magnus Bjarvi Svensson? Do you remember him when he came over as a young guy?
Yep.
Yeah. He became good friends, and we'd get on the plane after every game, and he'd be bagged. He'd be asleep in like 10 minutes. And I'd be like, are you okay? He's like, I'm so tired. This is incredible. It is so different from playing games Friday, Saturday to play now every other day and traveling around and trying to squeeze a practice or workout in. Like it's a lot. And Edmonton is not easy travel. It's a lot different than what you'd see in like New York or Philly.
Great discussion, guys. Great addition of brownie points. Roll the animation though, Struddy, because it's time for the big guy to take center stage in Struddy's world.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
It is Struddy's World, and it's brought to you by Batty Realty at Royal LePage, AR Team Realty. Buying a home's a big decision. Well, the Batty team guides clients through the complex process with expertise and care, providing unwavering support even after the keys are handed over. Their clients say they truly make you feel like the only client they have. Visit BattyRealty.com. That's BHATTI Realty.com. Struddy?
The hockey world lost a legend today in Larry Brooks. He was a beat writer for the New York Post. And, you know, the tributes poured in from every corner, former players, managers, coaches, as in Johan Tortorella, remember the battle they had. And it was really, really sad. Now, he died at 75 years old. And I got to know Larry a little bit when I played with the Rangers. And let's be honest, it wasn't like I was the highest profile player there. But he and I had a lot of interesting chats about everything except hockey. We talk actually a lot about baseball. Not that I knew a lot, but he followed the Yankees closely. We talk about those kind of things. And I really liked him. Even after I was done, he'd still, when the Rangers come to town, he'd reach out, hey, how are you doing, or whatever. And I really enjoyed our relationship. And when I became a broadcaster and my own nighttime radio show, I would call Larry. And Larry, I don't think he loved doing the radio hits, but he'd always do them for me. And I really appreciated what he did. And he was just a really neat guy. And we saw him, you've seen him sometimes, get into it with coaches, but he was well liked and respected by everybody. And I was truly sorry to see he passed away today. Just a really, really neat man. And someone I had a lot of respect for and some great conversations. So rest easy, big guy. You ran a hard race for hockey your whole life.
Brownie, you want to take that?
I know of him. I've been interviewed by him. I don't know him as well, but I don't know what it's like now with media and players. But when I played, and I'm sure when Struds did too, but when I played, we traveled with the media. So we travel on regular airplanes, and we would sit with the media. And the two beat writers of the Pittsburgh Penguins became friends. And I mean, you would have beers with them at the end of the night. Like, you would be hanging out with them. And I think that's what he was probably like in New York, where Strud says you had a friendship with them. I had friendships with the guys in Pittsburgh. So it was a different era. And it was one of those ones where you actually could confide and just talk to him about stuff that's going on. So there was a guy named Dave Molinari who's still around in Pittsburgh. Yep. He was the Brooksy. He was the Brooksy of Pittsburgh. Guy's been there forever that would treat you fairly. Mm-hmm. He would be honest, treat you fairly, but you also could sit and have a couple beers with at the end of the night and talk life.
Yeah, he was you guys can hear my mic, right? Can you hear me, Strats?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a weird message over here, but I think I'm okay.
Yeah,
it was very cool, very much a legend, and they would roll through town, and he would always be with them, and it was just sort of like, oh, there's Brooksy, right? We've all seen the videos, we've all read the articles. Yeah. And among his career achievements here, just reading the article on tsn.ca, broke the news of Wayne Gretzky signing with the Rangers in '96, his retirement 3 years as later, and he was credited for giving Hank Lundqvist the nickname the King, apparently. I'm reading here, Strud. So that's something.
Yeah, he was really, and Henrik Lundqvist had a nice statement about him today on his Twitter feed. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's funny, sometimes you see the players in the media battling, but I'd say 99% of the time it's very respectful. And Larry was the type of guy, just like Brownie said, he'd come and sit with you and just start talking. And I really appreciated that. I especially then later on, I'd find I'd give the guys not more, but I was willing to maybe go on a tangent when they were asking questions. And again, I wasn't like I was Wayne Gretzky and people want to hear from me all the time, but I think I was respected in the room. So I was really saddened to see that, because I'll miss him. I'll miss him. He was quite the guy.
And he was very famous for the tiffs he got into with John Tortorella. I've interviewed Torts for years. He's a tough guy to interview, man. He's really abrasive. I'll be honest with you. I hate the way Torts treats people. But Larry Brooks had to deal with him every day, and they figured out their way. But Torts went on their show tonight, and he had some unreal things to say about Larry Brooks, how much he respected him. And one of the things Torts kept going back to was the fact that he would absolutely decimate you. He would rip you, but he'd show up the next day. Yeah. And he'd be standing there ready to take anything you had to say to him. And he would be standing there digging in, asking questions the very next day. So, it's tough to lose someone like that, because they're few and far between. Really nice words, Struds, and a great addition to Struddy's World. Thanks, pal. Brownie, that's it for you, buddy. You get to roll and a day off. We'll do this again after the Carolina Hurricanes and Oilers on Saturday night, my friend.
Sounds good. See you guys.
All right, see you, buddy. An amicable Rob Brown checking out for the night here on the show. Let's get to our scoreboard, shall we? See what else is going on around the National Hockey League tonight. And as always, our scoreboard is brought to you by The Bridge Sports Therapy, where they offer a comprehensive approach that extends beyond temporary pain relief and focuses on developing long-term strength and resilience, with clinics at Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Lethbridge, and opening soon in St. Albert. You can learn more online at thebridge.fit. Been doing my exercises and groin stretches and groin strengthening. Spent 36 holes in the sim the other day. Happy to report, Struds, the golf elbow and the golf groin are feeling great. Thanks.
Good to hear. Way to grind it out, buddy. Way to grind it out.
Me and the bridge, getting her done.
10 games on the sketch tonight. We'll get to a few of them. The Red Wings beat the Ducks 6-3. In that game, though, in the loss, Cutter Gauthier gets his 12th goal of the year. Pretty impressive. The Stars absolutely pound the Canadians 7-0. Well-known defenseman Robert Petrovicki, he was only +5 in this game. That is a D-man's dream, especially when you're the 6th or 7th defenseman. The Bruins lose 5-3 to the Senators. Senators trying to find their tracking is slowing down the Bruins in their way. And then this is a great one. The Flames beat the Sharks 2-0 with an empty net goal. The Flames put 36 shots on net to get one goal. I guess 35 to get one goal, then the empty netter they get on one. So that's a classic way that the Flames win. So good for them to get a win because they've been struggling.
All right. Excuse me. Lots of action around the National Hockey League tonight. That is our scoreboard. Real good stream we've had tonight. Lots of people joining in, giving us their thoughts. A few different conversations going left and right, I see, all night tonight. We love it when everybody engages, as long as they are respectful, Zuby. Why don't you wrap up the poll for us here before we get to Ask Us Anything?
Yes, let's wrap up that poll. The question tonight was, which line do you want Zach Hyman to mostly play on Saturday? On Saturday. And this one was a runaway. Winger to 97 and 22, McDavid and Savoy. 78% of the vote. Coming in at second place, winger to 28, Jack Roslovic. Only 9% of the vote, but other coming in at 8%. And people do not want to see the nuclear line. Only 5% say they want him with McDavid and Draisaitl. So that's a bit of a surprise to me. But overwhelmingly, they want to see him on that top line, but Leon on another line.
The truth is, the answer here lies in things that we're not sure about Struds. Like, I've been watching him in practice, but how well is he shooting the puck? How comfortable is he? Is he ready to step back in? McDavid and Draisaitl, don't know if you noticed, they play a ton of minutes. Is he ready to run shotgun next to them and be on that first unit power play? So the right answer here lies in details we don't necessarily have right now.
Yeah, fair point. But I'll say this. He's not a shooter. I'd call him more of a banger. So I don't know if that touch is required enough. Second thing, there are other options on this team for the power play. Like, I think Roslovic's an option they can use. Tomashik has shown pretty well in that spot. So they can manage his minutes, and I think they will for the first little while. But it's a hand injury, so I think he's been skating and going hard. I would expect his legs should be okay. It's just adding the physical part to it. But I think he might just be okay here, guys.
All right, time to get our fantastic live audience in on the action with Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by M.I.A. Rates are falling. The market's heating up. That means opportunity. Maria Gallus has the lender connections and the strategy to get you more options than the bank ever will. Don't settle for average. Check out Mortgages by Maria.ca. All right, Zuby, hop in, buddy.
Okay, this was my little personal battle I had going with, very respectful with a couple of folks here tonight who, again, were just like, I was just surprised how much of the blame for this particular game Calvin Pickard was getting. I don't think he's playing great, nowhere near what we've seen from him in the past couple of years. But Canadian said, this was very early. He came in and says, sorry, but the title of the stream is completely off. Defense and details. I said they were missing. Sure, but goaltending was the biggest problem. Just help me out. Was goaltending your headline tonight? I don't feel like it was the headline, but you guys tell me what you think, Struddy.
I think that when there's uncertain play in front of them, I think goalies get happy feet, and maybe they're trying to do a little too much, and they're not maybe confident in what they're doing because they're not confident what's going in front of them. So it was part of the headline, but it's not the headline. So I disagree with the Canadian.
Yeah, I don't think that it should have been in the headline of the show. Like when I dialed in, and sometimes we discuss the headline, Zuby, and sometimes you roll right through with it. You always do a fantastic job. But I think this is fair. I mean, I think when you're talking about defending the front of your net, and we have multiple clips from people talking about that, that's a major issue in tonight's game. And so defense and details to me were the headline, but not far behind it is that the Oilers need to have better goaltending, in the big picture of what's going wrong with this team. That has been an issue, and he didn't save their bacon tonight. So yeah, I don't think you were off base, Subi.
And certainly the an 830 save percentage or whatever, that's his or was his save percentage coming into tonight. I believe it's even lower now. I mean, that is shocking. That's very, extremely low. We've talked before about how save percentage is not everything, but it doesn't tell the whole story, but that's very low. So I understand that part of it too. I could see that being part of the headline.
Nice last word, Zuby. Nice job sneaking the last word in. See, It's hard not to, hey?
Yeah. Okay, Dan Grasser says, am I mistaken, or isn't this a carbon copy for the most part to the Oilers' start last year? Slow start with losses and seemingly always having to come from behind to win games. Is it the same, or is it different because of the makeup of the team, Struddy?
Well, keep in mind, they didn't have Evander Kane last year, right, for the whole year. So I think we have to remember that. It's a slow start, and I think that's the third year in a row now we've seen that. So that's why I believe this team will sort it out. They will figure out when they get engaged to play the right way. And I hate using all these cliches, the details and all that stuff, but just being what they can, playing up to the standard they've set for themselves. So I am very calm. I'm going to give it till probably middle of December here, Rishaug, before I start to worry.
Yeah, I would say main difference for me is I think McDavid and Draisaitl are further off their game this year than they were last year. It felt to me like we weren't talking as much about them specifically. To me, those guys are fighting it more this season. And I'm not sure how the points stack up. I haven't looked where they were. This is more very much an eye test thing, night after night after night. There's a lot of nights where it's just feeling off, mishandles that wouldn't normally happen, blown plays. Some frustration. So I think it feels different to me, Struds, because I think 97 and 29 and their part in this is a bigger part of the storyline than maybe it was last year.
Yeah, I feel like thinking last year was Leon that was kind of carrying the team. He played really well early and through it, and then he kind of got going. And I think there's a higher level for him as well. But there is for everybody, that's the thing. Like, their standard's higher than this. We know it. And even if they tick up a 10% across the board, these are wins, right? They're getting wins, not losses.
Yeah. And by the way, Aaron St. Pierre chimes in and says McDavid is second in the league in points. And fair enough, Aaron. Like really, he's, but I think McDavid's overall game and the overall quality in his game, to me, isn't quite there. But very fair to point that out by him.
I just learned something, and that is that we are still on Twitch because we got a message from Twitch. Great Ride said, so is it a personnel problem or a coaching problem? Defense, that is. And let me just combine that with, there's a number of people asking about coaching off the post, and in goes a little bit deeper, says, how much of the team struggles related to all the coaches changing? The defense looks unsettled and losing Coffey's swagger seems big. Lots of new voices around the team. Can we address any of this? Is it fair to address any of this as a coaching issue, Shogger?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Chris Knobloch and his staff have to wear some of this for sure. Haven't been able to shake certain players out of it. Haven't been able to shake certain elements of their game out of it, defending, those kinds of things. But what I would say, Struds, is no more Paul Coffey, and you could argue that their top four defensemen have all taken turns being horrendous at times this season, way worse than I recall them being last season, and I don't know that that's a coincidence. So definitely some adjustments made and to some different coaching gravitas, I would say, with Coffey not there.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark Stewart was around the team last year. He was heavily involved in the penalty kill, and that's actually ticked up. So he would have seen what Coffey did and what he didn't do, and he would have tweaked it in what he thought was correct. But if I revisit some of the goals today, there isn't a system that I know of that doesn't have you try to lift sticks and or push people out the front or front pucks. Like I don't know anyone that doesn't do that, or try not to give backdoor tap-ins. Like that is, those are fundamental things that would be blanketed across every system on the planet.
Andrew Mangiapane's struggles, we've documented. He's minus 15. Someone said minus 15 in 19 games almost seems like an accomplishment. Aaron St. Pierre says, I think you have to bench Mangiapane. He's referring to, as some other people are, a healthy scratch. That Trent Frederick's name has come up there too. We know we talked about it in previous games, whether or not it would happen to a player the caliber of Evan Bouchard. But do you think Hyman coming back in, Nuge not that far away, do you think that should be in the arsenal of the coach to consider sitting Mangiapane or Trent Frederick, more of that mid-tier player, down for a game to send a message, Struddy?
I wouldn't. I'd put them further down the lineup, and try to get them going. Like tonight, he's -4. If you go back and look at the goals, was there any directly related to him? I mean, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? He was playing with the big guys, and then with the big guy. Then he's not with the big guy, so he's eating some minuses, and they're not the big guy when they start scoring. So it's kind of bad timing. So I know that doesn't excuse the other, number of goals he's been on against, but to me, his biggest challenge right now, at least on the offensive side of the puck, is puck touches and keeping the play going and making the right play at the right time.
We've been talking about this since he got here. Exhibition season, I remember, Struds, we were doing shows. It was like, okay, we're going to give him the veteran benefit of the doubt, but he looks terrible. And we were like, okay, he's been around a long time. You trust that he's going to figure out a way to work his game out, right? You give him that breathing room. And then early in the season, it's like, well, it's a new team and it's going to take a little bit, right? So you kind of give him some benefit of the doubt there. It's kind of been that. And it feels like the coaching staff has done the same thing because he's largely been put in position with those types of players. When you and Brownie were talking about that line that you liked, was it Lazar, Frederick, and Mangiapane? What I was thinking, and I love that idea, is that's also a shot across the bow to Mangiapane as well, right? That's burying him. That's a fourth line on this team, it feels like, in a lot of ways, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I totally agree. Not time for a healthy scratching yet, but certainly playing him down the lineup.
Okay, one more hockey one here, and actually two more hockey ones, and then a couple of quick hitters. Canadian says, Oilers are 1-1 on the 7-game road trip so far. What does their record need to be in order for this road trip to be a success? And let me butterfly that with if the road trip comes in under 500, does Bowman make a move shortly after that, or does he stay patient until closer to the deadline? What's a success coming back, and how bad would it have to be to push Stan Bowman's hand, Schauger?
Well, I mean, we said before, right? Like 500 is, what do they got? It's a 7-game road trip, so 14 points on the line. I think they need to shoot higher than 500. I think their standard needs to be trying to get 8, 9, 10 points somewhere in there, come out of this thing ahead of it. If they are pulling out of the ditch the way they want to believe they're pulling out of the ditch, I don't know if that'll be doable or not. And as for Bowman, like, I just don't think Stan Bowman is going to be subject to the whimsies of, a little bit of momentum in the first 15, 20, 25 games of the season. There's going to be a time and a place where he feels like it's the right time to make a move. And I don't think that a lot of what has happened has probably really moved him significantly. They're waiting until the cavalry comes back, Struds, and that is the likes of Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Janmark is now back, and even Kapanen when he gets back.
Yeah, the 8 points to me is the minimum point total they want to get. And I agree. Until you see this team fully loaded with everyone, and there's time. It's not like it's February 8th. It's just, what is it, November 13th or whatever it is. There's lots of time to let people get back and to find their game. And I really think Hyman will have an impact on this group.
Okay, Ro Nelson, I'll kind of summarize. She says she's blaming Knobloch for destroying Phillips' confidence, in her opinion. Came into the season and scored 2 goals in 3 games and sat for 5 or whatever. I won't get into the rest of it, but basically, what do you see in Noah Philp? Do you think we talked about why or why not he was being the odd man out in the early going despite some good results? Do you think that's hurt his confidence, Struddy?
I think they're trying to keep people, in the rotation and trying to keep people going so you can see what you have and trying to figure out what it could be. He is getting penalty killing time, which he wasn't at the beginning of the year. I think that's a pretty significant development. I know that it may not seem, but you're carving out, the coach is looking for an opportunity to play him more. and he's put him on the PK. So I think that's a pretty big deal there. I'd like to see him play with a little more juice in his game, like tempo and getting in on the forecheck, being a little heavier, the puck battles. And that's what you do when you're on the fourth line. That's the job.
I think it matters what you're saying to him as well when you're healthy scratching him, Struds. I believed all along that they were trying to keep other players engaged, trying to keep other players involved, trying to work Howard in, Tomashik, who the GM brought in. But my guess is, and I don't know this, my guess is the dialogue to Noah has been, hey, this might not feel fair and it might not be. We got some things going on. We got some decisions to make. We know what we have in you, and you're going to get more opportunities. So we're going to ask you to be patient here. You probably deserve better. Your chance is going to come again. Stick with it. That's a lot different than just a couple of games, healthy scratched, and no messaging and no understanding why. It feels like Knobloch would be communicative enough, and my guess is that would have been the message to Phil.
Okay, a couple fun ones to wrap this up. Quick hitters. Blommer wants to know, what's your favorite tea? We'll go to Struddy. We know is the tea expert. Let's go to Struddy first on that.
Yeah, Carmel Rooibos. Very classy drink. Upper class people drink it.
Interesting. I've been trying so hard to allow tea a place in my life. And I'm having a hell of a time, Struds. I'm struggling with it. I tried at the games. I try and add honey. I try different things. So the best I can do right now, there's a root licorice tea that I don't mind.
Okay.
Kind of got a black licorice style taste to it that I don't mind, but really anything else, and I'm just pretending. Like a 16-year-old pretending to like beer. Hated the taste of it. Always have my entire life.
Dang, and I can't even think of the what type of tea is in a London Fog. That's I can't even think of the name of it. Like the the Twinnings. I like that, or I like a good herbal fruity tea, a berry tea. I'm not a big tea lover either. So for me, it's like some sort of berry, delicious Earl Grey. Thank you. I do like an Earl Grey tea. Thank you, folks on the stream. Okay. Last one, Kayla Weethorn. She was snacking tonight, so she came up with this question. What's the best way to eat a cookie? Raw, perfectly cooked, undercooked, or burnt? I guess she means cookie dough, because a raw would be, what's the best way to eat cookie dough? Raw, perfectly cooked, undercooked, burnt, or other, if you want to go off the board there, Schauger.
I really like a soft cookie. I like a soft cookie. I don't like a cookie that you got to work to get through. As we all know, it's been well documented on this show. I'm an expert in texture, culinary textures,
yes,
and it's all about the texture for me. So it's got to be soft, right? You got to be able to squish it up on the roof of your mouth. Burnt, absolutely not. Raw, absolutely not. Perfectly cooked and soft.
And that makes complete sense considering your history of soft teeth and the pain it causes you to bite anything hard. But ironically, I too like a undercooked, warm cookie. So it's maybe, if it needs 10 minutes in there, you do it 7, then you pull it out and the middle is doughy. Oh, let's do this.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. I like my wife is a great baker. She makes amazing cookies, makes them with the kit. I've taught the kids they're going to be great bakers too. And I say, get them out early and I want to eat them while they're hot. I like a soft cookie too.
Is anybody else, anybody else's family bring back those cookies from Crumble Cookies?
Oh,
have you guys seen those? Have you had those?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I have. They're huge.
And I'm not just making a play here for a sponsorship, but like the girls, my stepdaughters or Randine, every once in a while, they'll bring back like and I won't know. I'll finish the podcast. I'll walk out there and there'll be a box like this long with like 5 1/4 left Crumble cookies. If they're in the house, I'll crush all of them till they're gone. Like they're so phenomenal.
Really good.
Sarah C says, I hate doughy middles. And I take that as, I think she's taking a shot at me when she says that. So Sarah, I resent that remark about me and you not liking doughy middles, because I'm all doughy middle.
Quaddy, Schauger has weak gums. Where did this soft teeth, I don't even recall the origins of this. Why that's such a known chirp on me, Struds? Why do I have soft teeth?
It's not a chirp. I don't know why you think everything's so personal. You talked about one time how you like the cashew is a nut.
Yeah.
And I said it's because it's a soft nut. You can basically suck it soft. And, for you, that makes sense. Now, I like a more bold, a more robust nut, like the Brazil nut. That's what I like. But my teeth are robust and strong.
All right. I'm sorry I asked for that reminder. Time for our play of the day, brought to you by Mainline Water and Sewer, your trusted choice for over 40 years, specializing in sewer line replacement, expert water line repair and replacement as well. Slow drains are letting you know it's time for attention. Aging lines can cause backups in your basement. They've got a trenchless method that is quick, low impact, and it's often finished in a day, complete with backflow protection. Visit mainlinewaterandsewer.ca. We're getting a little punchy here, and it's only 10:15. These early starts, Struddy, yet still feeling spent at the end of the night here.
It's the dream. It's the dream, guys. I'm going with a hometown guy from Newmarket, Ontario, and I'm bullish on him. Quinton Byfield scores the overtime winner in Toronto to beat the Kings, to beat the Leafs. I love that, and I'm bullish on Quinton Byfield. You guys know how I feel. I think he's going to be elite.
Yeah. You've been on him for a while, Struds. You've been talking about him since the start of this podcast, I recall, and now developing into that player that you always believed that he could be. All right, Zuby, good job tonight, buddy, and great job on the Got Your Back Alumni series, man. When I saw the way that all came together, and I just sort of said to you, hey, man, make it look cool, make it look different, I thought you did a great job. So encourage everybody to go check that out, pal.
Thanks, bud. Yes, we're going to be streaming that out tomorrow, I believe at noon Mountain Time is the plan. Should be good. So it's a really good, if you like, especially there's lots of talk about goalie coaches and stuff tonight, and Devin Dubnyk goes really deep into that. So if you're interested in kind of what a goalie coach does, what a goalie takes away from it, there's some pretty interesting stuff about that. And I should also point out a couple of other things. Kayla wanted to see Brownie's Northern Lights photos, and I forgot. I didn't have it handy. I don't know if you can grab it, or I could put it out. I could shoot one out on the Twitter as well for the folks to see, because they were really incredible. And I had one other note, and I think I forgot what it was.
Can you see that? Oh, not really.
I'll shoot one out on Twitter. If everybody follows the Got Your Back Twitter, I'll put one of Brownie's.
Northern Lights.
They're pretty incredible.
All right, that'll wrap the show, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Love the live audience, and if you're listening in podcast form, we appreciate you as well. Having lots of fun this season, and we will do it again on Saturday night. Thanks, Struds. Thanks, Zuby. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.